Yes, before we actually start building our first plugin, let's look at a demo of how it would look like, and then let's actually go over the process of building it. And I will attach this documentation. You can look at it. The thing we need is a manifest file, which is also known as AI plugin.json. And we are going to look at how to create this file. Then we have to register our plugin in ChatGPT UI. Then post that we have to activate that plugin. I'll also show you how to do that. Then we are going to look at users begin a conversation and they would provide input. And the next one is how do we capture the data out and look at it. So with the examples of plugin, ChatGPT has provided us a couple of examples. In that, the first one they have provided is without no auth, how can we create a to-do list. So the first demo we are looking at is of to-do list, and these are some Python libraries you need to install for this to work. But if you, like I mentioned, if you use Replit, it takes care of all the installations. I have done all the work for you. All you have to do is so let me show you this example. 1 minute. So if you just go into my example here, just go here and open. So I should not be logged in. So if you go in here, all you have to do here is once you create your Replit account, then just go and you can just go execute this code, or you can fork my project into your work. You can just click on fork and all this code will be set up. You can just click run and you can do the application. If you want to do it from the scratch, in the next video I'll show you how to do this along with getting all the fields for this demo. So that's basically covers it. So the two things I have here which you need to be aware of is there is something called main.py, and in main.py we have written some decorator functions. I'll also explain what they are in the next video using fast API, and the written code for HTML is what we are checking here. If everything is okay, return the exit code as 200. All this are for debugging messages. And the next one is where we are hosting the endpoints. So we are mentioning the endpoints and also our server name. So UVCon is the server we are using to host. And on top of it, this is our AI plugin.json, which is the manifest file. Without you updating your login URL to so if this is my REPL endpoint, you have to replace it with your REPL endpoint prior to logo.png. Then it would work. Currently, this is the only field that is being dynamic. You have to change for your use case. And once you do both of this, what's the next thing to do? Just go here and click run. And once you do this, you should see a server running and you would see a URL like this. So once you copy this URL, go to your ChatGPT plugins, and in plugins, go to your plugin store. In the plugin store, click on develop your own plugin. Here, you just need to copy paste this one. If your manifest.file is right, it will recognize the plugin and install it automatically. So if I do this, find the manifest file, it should work here. Okay, it found it. So as you can see, it said validated manifest. It also validated OpenAI spec. So it has generated all this data here, and that's it. So which basically says that our plugin is fine at the moment, but it still doesn't mean the plugin would work. So plugin might still have some error, but let's actually see this for me. And forget this, because I don't think our whatever we are building, we need beta testers for this. Once we start building better plugins, probably we need to use these features to invite up to 15 developers to test a beta tester plugin and other stuff. And once we are done, continue installing, and OpenAI gives you a warning saying your plugin might contain risk. So it's totally up to you that you are installing it. So whenever you are installing beta plugins which are not commercially ready yet, invited by someone, always be sure that it could be potentially risky. But if you trust that person, if you know it, you can go ahead and install it, or it's up to you what you do with it. So once we do it, let's install this plugin. Okay, our plugin is installed and our plugin is also enabled here. So if you want to do it yourself, just click on here and go here, and this would enable the plugin, Todo plugin. So let's assume, okay, let me say add to-do list task by grocery to user. Let's see it would work. And I'll also show you how do we know it's working. Okay, it says it has added it to me. And how do I know it's added it to me? Just copy this URL and go into this endpoint, and in this endpoint append this URL, right? So you can just go here, you can append it. So you can also run this from, okay, so if you look at this one here, you see the endpoint that's working here. So that's our endpoint, and after this I can add a similar task. So I have added this one. So similarly you can add more items, right? So it could be buy medicines from pharmacy. Okay, so you can add anything. So the idea here is don't look at the task. It is just whenever you just write an hello world program, this is something similar to that, because this is the easiest way to understand what we are writing is working. So that got added here, and probably our next task could be check. Yeah, it could also be car wash, right? So you can say add to-do list, get car wash done this weekend. So similarly, the user can be any, you can do it for any user, but once you know that endpoint, you just need to go to that user's endpoint and you should be able to access it. So if I refresh this page, you should see the next task getting added. And how you write this UI at the endpoint, that's totally up to you, because right now it's just a service for us to test that what we are passing through OpenAI plugin is actually coming back to our backend. And that's why I just covered a simple example initially to do with. In the next video, we are going to learn how to build this, how to populate each of this file, what the contents are, because that's the more critical part of this. This one is just to show you how a custom plugin would work once you have everything set up here. Thank you for joining.